Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and we are back here with DWP 5903 and 5907 back together, better than ever. And we'll go over a couple things. So like I said before, now the panels that are in these are supposed to be for SD70Ms, but it still has that classic SD70 sound, or SD sound period, so works in these. Eventually I will do something about that, but just to get these running good and sounding pretty decent right now, that works good enough for me. What else do we do? The lights, like I said, the lights aren't quite as bright as I would like it. The headlights are not as quite as bright as I would like them to be, but they're what they are. Eventually I will come back and address that as well. I just don't have good little inserts for the lights to really carry the LED to a point, is basically my problem. But they're not bad. They're there. They're just kind of dim, but they are there. They're about as bright as the incandescent bulbs, I would say. But yeah, these are ready to go, so we'll power them up. You guys will hear the beautiful incorrect sound, but beautiful nonetheless. And you guys can see the headlights. And I mean, like I said, they're not bad. They're a little dim, but they're doable. I'm not going to cry about them too much. Just to have these with Tsunami 2 now is really nice, because now I can run them with anything. These really kind of ran their own speed together. They ran good together, but I could not really run them with anything else without not having the ability to speed match. So gonna run them up here a little bit. Really nice slow speed on these. So I'm pretty happy with these. Like I said, the idle is where you can really hear the difference. But other than that, it's got that classic SD sound. Good enough for me for now. And I'm really happy with these, to have them up and going like this. I will go over some of the other things that we did. Of course, we have LEDs on front and rear. We do have the nice metal windshield wipers now. When these came out, they had no windshield wipers, which was kind of funny, because they actually had all the pilot detail, front and rear. They had the MU hoses and the air hoses. They came with all that detail. Now, anything older than these on RTR did not come with that detail, but these were a little different because they actually did come with factory DCC and sound. But yeah, all of that stuff, factory DCC and sound, all the other grab irons, and they didn't have windshield wipers on them. So when I had initially worked on these, I had put I had a bunch of plastic ones that I cut out and put on there, very carefully painted them silver. And they're okay, but I didn't have get my pointer out here. I did not have the detail of the little connecting rod between the two inner windshield wipers. So I was kind of missing that. And I just thought they could look a little bit better. So I had some spare sets of the metal ones, so they got the metal ones on all the windows, even on the back windows. They are hard to see, but it is a nice little detail to have. Something else that I did was I replaced this all-weather window right here. The original one was kind of misshapen from the mold. It didn't look like it hit anything. Nothing was damaged. It was just literally like kind of droopy. The whole middle of the window was very droopy, and it left a little gap right at the top here that was kind of hard to deal with. So took that one off, put a new one on. You guys can see I have the exhausts painted black. That's going to be it for the amount of weathering. We do have nice painted wheels on these now. These are new wheel sets. I ended up not getting rid of, but just swapping out the original wheel sets with these just because I had run them quite a bit and they were starting to show some issues. I had originally thought they weren't starting to crack, but when I went and started to clean them up, clean the old grease off of there, I noticed a few of them were starting to crack right at the gear shaft. So that's kind of, if you have anything Athearn, you know that's a big issue on those. So I had some still a little bit newer wheel sets, but still RTR wheel sets to put in these. So these locomotives got all new wheels, and yes, those 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 wheels that you saw that I had painted up on the last video, those all got replaced. I should have cleaned the axles before painting them, because then I would have saw, you know, just from a glance they look like they weren't splitting, but they were. So that was kind of an issue that I had to deal with there. Fixed that. But yeah, these units are awesome. They are good to go. These are really hard to find too, and I am very pleased to have these with Tsunami 2 now, because like I said, I can run them with anything else that runs good with Tsunami 2. The only thing I haven't checked on is how my Walther's Proto Jeep 9s run with anything else. I'm guessing they're not going to run the same speed, but like I said, eventually, I will have a nice NCE system. There are a couple systems that I'm looking into, and once I get that and get a program, then I can start to speed match stuff. But for right now, I'm not worried about that. I am worried about just things kind of running more well with each other, period. So that was the premise of the upgrade for my two patch units, my two DT&I, former DT&I patch units in the back, and now these two. So now those four locomotives can all run with each other. They can run with my other Athearn stuff really nice, so that's pretty cool. Now I do have another unit that I want to run with these, because I actually saw it in a picture, so I know it was an actual thing. And that's going to be our next video. Now, that unit is not out here. And that unit also is not a DP or a DWP or a Grand Trunk Western locomotive. So, look forward to that one. That's kind of a neat one that I picked up a while back and really didn't know what to do with it. I just kind of got it from a friend with a bunch of other stuff. But now that I've seen a picture of it running with one of these locomotives, I think it was 5907. I can't remember. It was one of these because I Googled a picture of one of these just to make sure I had the details right. And I saw it in the picture. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I have to get that unit out, and that'll be our next project. So it won't be a Grand Trunk locomotive, but it will fit in with these. With these being a Duluth, Winnipeg, and Pacific. That's what the DWP stands for, if you did not know. I have another locomotive that will run well with these. It's going to need some work. It's going to be interesting to see how I can get it figured out. It is going to get Tsunami 2 and LED upgrades, of course. But as far as running gear and motor, I don't think there's anything I can really do. So I'm going to hope that the everything is good and that it runs halfway decent with these. If it's a little faster or a little slower, just by a little bit, not that big of a deal. But if it's vastly slower or vastly faster, then I'll just have to wait till I can speed match it to run it with these. But that is for the next video. This series is done, little two-part series. Like I said, some of these are pretty quick. We're basically just refurbishing, rebuilding, overhauling, whatever you want to call it, some power that I've been wanting to for a while now. So, but yeah, I'm happy to have these done. I love how they look. We do have the painted couplers on there. And like I've said in the past, I spend so much money on this stuff, and I like to have it look pretty and clean. So much like my UP stuff in the background there, I like it so much, and I like it to look nice. And I know it's not prototypical to have it unweathered, but I don't care. It's my stuff. I paid for it. I'm going to keep it unweathered. But I will do a little things like the wheels, the couplers, the exhaust, just the fundamentals basically on having, somewhat of a fresh, out of the shop locomotive look. So that's how these are going to stay, and I'm pretty happy with how they look. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the videos, and until next time, take care.